Hey everybody, this is Ryan Alexander with Dennison Yachting. Today is day one of the Cannes Yachting Festival, and I get another chance to take you on an in-depth walkthrough of a boat that you most likely have never heard of or even laid eyes on before. At 38 meters, motor yacht Emocean is hull number one to come out of the Rosetti superyacht shipyard, and we're excited to take you on board, introduce you to a few key players in the production of this boat, and we're excited to hear what you have to think about Rosetti's first offering to the super yacht market. So I just want to take a quick second here and introduce you to my new friend Sergio. Sergio here, not only the naval architect on this boat, but also the exterior designer. And I've always wondered, when you are designing a boat, which line do you draw first?
It's difficult to say because basically you have the complete boat in your mind. I mean, when you start at Hydro Tec, which is my company, we like to call our kind of design like a kind of holistic design, because actually you put everything together. It's very interesting also for the yard who has to build the boat, the fact that they can have one interface only, apart from the interior designer, of course, but so that everything fits where it should stay. There is no conflict, not even a conflict of ideas when you develop the design. The naval architect is an integrator. We need to know a little bit of everything of the ship, from the propeller to the toilet system. You can never be 100% sure that this time will work as it was the time before, because every boat is different, every client is different, every shipyard is different. In the end, you know, you work a long time before the boat starts construction. Then you follow the construction, then you come at the end and you splash the boat. And that's the moment. That's the moment. Then you switch on the engines and you go at sea. The owner had a very clear idea of what he wanted. It's like a tailor-made suit. Of course, they wanted volume, so this boat to be only 38 meters. I say only, but it's already a good size.
My name is Andrea Giora. I'm the Sales and Marketing Director within Rosetti Super Yachts. We are on the Rosetti Super Yachts 38-meter Explorer, hull number one. It's actually the first yacht being built by Rosetti Marino Group with the Rosetti Super Yachts brand. Our background makes us different, for sure, having built more than 100 commercial vessels. The stronger and reliable hull that we build for commercial vessels, and then of course all the experience for the piping, the experience that we gain managing complex projects up to 85 meters. This is something that the owners wanted to bring in this yacht as well.
We call this Explorer because actually, even if today sometimes we are used to either all forward or all aft, in the end this has the essence of the Explorer. This is a seaworthy ship with a lot of range. We speak about 5,000 miles at 10 knots, so with good capability to stay at sea and possible to be used in different climate situations. You will see when we go around, there is not one single spot from main deck and above where you don't see the sea. So this boat is fairly transparent. I mean, you feel the contact with the sea. We are now on the sun deck, and actually you can see that this sun deck is almost completely covered. I mean, it's just the aft end and the forward part which is open. It's hot today, but the nice breeze, you know, is keeping us fresh. And you see, this is a place where you would like to be. I mean, you have a nice pool in the bow area. You have a glass screen which is protecting you from the wind. I mean, when you are at sea, when you're sailing, so this area can be really used. Look at this huge bar and the table. So this is an area that potentially can entertain a lot of people. But of course, there is the gym corner for the owner. Plus, in the end, you can close one side if you're windier on the one side, or you can close completely, and to use it also when the weather is not so mild as it is today.
One of the wishes of the owners was to have a big jacuzzi on the sun deck with more than 5,000 liters of water, with 18 jets and backup tank that is in the under lower deck that keeps the water at the temperature that the owner wants. Around 30 minutes he can get the water back up on the sun deck. The boat, as you see, has not the typical flush deck of the Explorers, so it's not capable to carry a lot of toys. This was the brief of the owners. They wanted to carry a big tender On the bridge deck, there is a tender of 6 meters that can be stored with this crane that is 1.5 tons. Same story for the jet skis. You can have them here for the long distance cruising or on the swimming platform. And once the tender is in the water, you can have all the furniture and use this as an exterior lounge.
One byproduct of the Explorer concept is that the deck spaces are usually oversized and have wide open layouts. The benefit of this on the bridge deck aft is that not only do you have more than enough room to arrange seating for 8, but you've also got an open area to work with. Forward of this we have the Sky Lounge, a really special spot on board this 38 meter. Often, it's hard to call a Sky Lounge a practical space because of its formal nature, but in here, that expectation is shattered.
What we normally call the Sky Lounge is designed having the function in mind, rather than aesthetics, symmetry, and these things that in the end, they lose the meaning when they become unpractical.
A defining characteristic in here is the low-profile seating arranged below 2 of 3 massive windows that line the starboard side. Just forward of this sofa is a small table, as most of the dining on board takes place on either the sun deck or in the formal dining room that we're going to take a look at later on. To port, by the entrance, is a 75-inch TV located just a few feet away from a best-in-class port-side wet bar with a view. Perhaps my favorite thing about the interior is seen midship, where you find that the floor has a large glass panel that lets you see down to the main deck. As if that wasn't cool enough, there's another glass panel overhead that acts as a skylight integrated into the sun deck. From here, we're going to jump into the wheelhouse, which is accessed by passing through the captain's office and technical space.
The Explorer yacht is a yacht that is putting you in contact with all the technical issues more than any other yacht. It is a no-compromise boat. So, for example, one of the first things that we check is the bridge visibility. This is very important. It's very important for flag authorities today. And the other interesting features of this layout is the captain cabin, which is just behind the wheelhouse, and which is like a guest cabin, absolutely. So the wheelhouse is actually still possible to be lived at sea. This is a fully integrated bridge. All the monitoring system, engine room, parameters, everything can be managed from the wheelhouse. So you will not have any need to get often to the engine room.
An extension of the helm is seen with a pair of wing stations just feet outside of the wheelhouse. From here, the captain can stay in close contact with the crew and docking operations.
This was an area that usually was, as you said, mainly technical or just left for the crew, to smoke their cigarette. It became again an area where the guests can enjoy. We have the option to cover it with some canvas, a nice sofa. All the mooring part has been designed going 2 steps above the minimum required by RINA. Also the connection, the high connection between the wheelhouse and the anchor area is perfect.
Jumping from one end of the yacht to the other, our next stop is the stern, which is a great example of how you can combine 2 spaces, such as the swim platform and a multi-use lazarette, to create an enjoyable beach club. As you can see, the swim platform is large enough to stock most of your water toys when you're using them. And then a practical feature back here is the boarding gangway on the port side, serving as the primary entrance onto the yacht when docked stern to. When the large transom door is open, you have access to not only a seating area and a ton of storage down a few steps, but this is also where we find the entrance into the engine room. This space was designed around having great access to the yacht's main machinery, specifically to her twin-man D2868 LE425 diesel engines. Also down here are a pair of Idromar water makers, 3 Kohler generators that power the house when you're off of the dock, and the yacht's main electrical panel. Now we're going to take a look at the aft deck, which I previously mentioned is accessed by a port-side passerelle. This 38 meters aft deck is perhaps the most used area on board, seeing as it's not only where you welcome guests, but also home to a long molded-in bench seat running along the aft. The teak from the swim platform continues underfoot in the area with additional raw teak adornments by the seating and where we find the outboard deck gear. When it comes to access, there are side decks moving forward port and starboard, as well as huge glass doors offering access into the salon. Stepping inside, we're reminded of the formal interior that contrasts the rough and tumble capabilities of this Rosetti. The main lounge seating is located right next to the entrance with a pair of sofas below windows in the superstructure. Forward of this is one of the most outstanding features on board, a custom 150-bottle wine cellar to starboard. This is designed to serve as a divider between the aft seating and the formal dining room on the forward end of the salon. Looking at the dining space, we see seating for 12 flanked by fully opening doors that create port and starboard balconies. With these open, you can let in the fresh ocean breeze and end the day on a high note. It's also worth noting that forward of the dining area to port is an electric pocket door leading into the galley. The galley also connects with a second pocket door near the entrance into the crew quarters, which we can't access because we are, after all, at a really busy boat show and the crew already has their hands full. Leaving the salon, heading forward brings us to the main deck dayhead, which is just a few feet away from the owner's stateroom. We're going to come back to this in just a minute, but you first pass through the owner's office before stepping into the accommodation itself. Taking up the impressive 29-foot beam of the yacht, this is the kind of space that immediately comes to mind when you imagine a super yacht sleeping accommodation. High-end materials, loads of natural light, and copious storage all combine to reinforce the luxurious feel in this stateroom. At the foot of the berth is not only a mirror view TV, but also the entrance into an opulent ensuite with 2 vanities separated by a shower with the addition of a private stall containing the head and bidet. The design brief for this stateroom came directly from the owner, who himself is still very active with his business and came up with the idea of having a master that can be separated into 2 areas.
One is the sleeping area, and one is the, let's say, more the working area. So in this case, he wanted to have the position of the bed asymmetrical, and this helped us because in any case he has the chance to split the cabin completely in 2. You know, we work a lot in Zoom calls anytime, and so he can be completely independent here. So this helped us to organize the cabin in a way from the layout point of view that this side has a full view on the ocean with this big window. This side has anyway a full view through this balcony. This is something you can use yourself. You don't need the crew to help you to open, to put stanchions or whatever. And believe me, I've been there during sea trials. It's such a nice place to be because you sit there and you only hear the noise of the water. I'm a long time in this business, so I mean sometimes you see this sporty looking boat and then you get inside and it's like a church, I mean, or in this case I think the boat is very homogeneous. I mean I would say very realistic. Wherever you go you feel the same kind of comfort, the same kind of colors. From the aesthetical point of view, the boat is quite traditional. Is not something sharp, you know, that you may notice. Is a style that can be developed.
Leaving the master, the only areas that we have left to take a look at today are the guest accommodations on the lower level. We're first going to take a look at the twin cabins, which are mirrored and located forward in the lower companionway. When it comes time to sleep, guests and family find a pair of side-by-side berths in here with the ability to sleep a third thanks to a Pullman berth on the inboard bulkhead. Other important things to point out is that these lower cabins all have large windows letting in natural light, as well as desks at the foot of the outboard berth. This desk is right next to a large hanging wardrobe, as well as the entrance into the ensuite. The final 2 guest accommodations are the VIPs, which have an athwartship double berth below a window in the hull. With an even larger footprint than the twin cabins, the VIPs feature even more storage, plenty of open floor space thanks to her 410 gross ton interior volume, and there are also exceptional en-suites. On behalf of Dennison Yachting and myself, Ryan Alexander, thank you for joining me on today's walkthrough of motor yacht Emocean, the 38-meter Rosetti super yacht. If you have any questions about this boat, or if you'd like to share your thoughts, you can do so in the comment section down below. And if you want to get on board, as always, you can reach out to us directly at any time. Thanks.